welcome back to another video. If you can see, I'm really excited. If you've been keeping up to date with the vlogs or my Instagram, you know that I have been condo hunting since around the end of January. And I finally can announce that I have gotten a place. I have bought a house. I have bought a condo. Before we get started, just to clarify, I was not apartment hunting. I am not renting. I actually bought a condo, an apartment, whatever you want to call it. I kind of use the words condo and apartment interchangeably, but I bought a place. That being said, of course, I have started furniture hunting, and today's video is in partnership with Karma. So a big thank you to Karma for partnering with me on today's video. I have worked with them before and I honestly love their Chrome extension so much. I find it is so useful for when you're shopping because they notify you right away if something has been sold out and comes back in stock. You can also just create lists and organize your wish lists, which is currently what I'm doing for apartment hunting. I have started furniture kind of browsing and putting some of the items that I like into lists on Karma just to keep tabs on them. So Karma automatically finds and applies the best coupon code and applies it for you at checkout, and as mentioned, you can just organize all of your wish lists on Karma, which I love because it's like in one place, all of the links, and it's right there, so easy access right on the Chrome extension, and it's free. Let me give you guys a quick little tutorial of how to use Karma and all of the features that they have. Right when you go on a website that is Karma applicable, the little Karma tab is on the side. You can slide it up and down to wherever you like so that it's easiest and accessible to you. And then when you're scrolling through items, you can just click on the little Karma tab and save any of the items directly to Karma. Karma also offers Karma Cash or cash back on select retailers. So lucky for me, Anthropologie is one of those. So when you're going to shop, you can browse through their retailers, click to claim and shop through cash back, and you will get that cash back sent directly to your PayPal account when you make a purchase from the select retail partners. But you guys can go use my link to check out Karma. It's both here on the screen as well in the description box below. Again, a big thank you to Karma for sponsoring today's video. Now, without further ado, let's get into this apartment hunting, condo hunting video vlog. So I did vlog quite a bit of my actual condo hunting experience while I was condo hunting. My original thought was that I wanted to do just a full vlog style condo hunting video as I normally do, but I quickly learned that you're not really allowed to video or film or take pictures or anything. When you're condo hunting, it's a little bit different than apartment hunting because it's someone's home and they own it and they possibly live there. I know a lot of people that own condos in Toronto rent them out, but still a lot of them are people's homes. So when you're going to view places, you're not really supposed to take videos and stuff. So I did vlog a little bit, but not a whole lot. The main things that I was looking for when I was apartment hunting was, first of all, 2-bed, 2-bath. I want to be able to have an office space, and then 2-bath is just so much better for when I have guests over. The guests don't have to use my personal bathroom. There's a guest bathroom, which is really nice. It also, just when you're buying, it's not worth it really to get a 1-bedroom or even a 1+1 versus a 2-bedroom. Just that resale value, and also what you're buying, the prices are so similar that it just makes sense to spend that extra bit of money if you have it and you have the budget room to go for the 2-bed. But anyway, so I was looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath. I really wanted full length windows. Obviously, I feel like that's such an important thing that a lot of people are looking for when they're apartment hunting or condo hunting, is just that they want so much natural light and they want those full windows, which I quickly realized not a lot of buildings in Toronto seem to have that full floor-to-ceiling windows, which was really odd because I thought that they did. Another thing that wasn't a must but would be nice would be to have a little balcony. I really didn't want a wraparound balcony because I wanted the full floor-to-ceiling windows with nothing obstructing the view. So if there was a balcony, I wanted it to be off to the side or have no balcony at all. Another major thing for me was the layout. I didn't want one of those long skinny apartments where the kitchen was on the side and then you walk down into the living space. I really wanted it to be more open concept, more of a box square situation, so that you have the kitchen at the back and then obviously the living room out and bedrooms on either sides of the apartment. That wasn't necessary, but it was nice because typically more often that meant that there would be windows in both bedrooms, which was also a must. And then the last thing that was really a must for me was the kitchen. I really wanted an island situation, which is really funny because the place that I got doesn't have an island, but it did come with like a high top table, which obviously you guys will see my apartment at some point. I will be filming an empty apartment tour. I'll be filming the whole moving process. I'll be filming everything. I really wanted an island, and I really wanted some sort of neutral kitchen, whether that was brown, gray, or white. Nothing really too dark, too funky, you know, weird colors. So those were kind of my main wants. But let me roll the vlog footage and you guys can kind of see some of the places that I looked at a little bit, some of the views. Oh, that's another thing. I was so big on the view. I did not want to be looking out right at another building. I didn't want to be really down low. I wanted to be relatively up high on higher floors, and I wanted a nice city skyline view, especially living in Toronto, is that you have some sort of view of the city, the beautiful city skyline. Like, I feel like that's a main reason why a lot of people want to move into an apartment or a condo in Toronto, is to get that view. So that was a major thing. But let's roll the vlog footage and you guys can watch my little messy attempt of a vlog. Hello everyone, welcome back to another vlog. I'm very, very excited for today's vlog, but today is day one of condo hunting, apartment hunting, so we're going to see 3 places today. But yeah, I'm excited because this is my like condo hunting first technically moving out vlog, I guess, but of course I'm gonna bring you guys with us and show you all the condos that I'm looking at. And yeah, I'm just excited to bring you guys on this journey because I feel like you guys have known how long I've been wanting to get my own place for, so let's go. We just got back from the 3 viewings. One was a total bust. The first one was beautiful. It was ideal. Yeah, that's kind of, I feel like the layout and everything was really nice. The last one is also beautiful. It's got a great view, but doesn't have a whole lot of natural lighting. But we're gonna end off day 1 of condo hunting here. I definitely feel like there'll be more listings that come up that I'll take you guys to go see. But that's kind of the situation right now, and I feel like even from the first 3 you can get a sense of like what I'm looking for and what I like, so. You guys, we are day 2 of house hunting. I'm alone today, me with the realtor going to look at houses, but I thought we'd stop and grab a little oat milk latte this morning. It's a little breezy, my bangs keep blowing in my face, but we are going to see an older place today, 30-year-old building, so I'm not quite sure how I'll like it. The windows looked beautiful, but it looked like it needed a lot of updates. That's the only thing with like house hunting, is like I feel like a lot of places are like hit or miss, and like you can really only see 1 or 2 places a day, and it's just like a much longer process than apartment hunting. But here we are, day 2, let's go. Good morning, you guys. It's around 3, another older building we're going to see today, but it would need like a total reno, so that's kind of the situation for today's place, but let's go see. Alright you guys, it's day 4, 5, I don't even know, of condo hunting. We are going to see a few places today in a very good location. They're all in like the same general location, so I'm excited. I feel like I haven't updated you guys in a while on like the condo hunt. I feel like I've just been seeing places and I haven't really been talking, but like I haven't really been able to film at places because it's a condo, so it's like people's home and like not really supposed to film. That's kind of the situation, so that's why there's not too many clips of places. But there was one place that I really liked, but there was no parking or anything, so the situation was just not so good. But I'll keep you guys updated. We're going to see 2 places today, I think. Morning you guys, welcome to day 397, no I'm kidding, it's not that many, of condo hunting. Here we go, another day. I feel like at this point I've seen probably around 30 places. As we can see, it's March, almost the end of March, it's spring, it's beautiful out. No winter coat today. Makes it a lot easier to see places like that. We're going back to one of the buildings that I've been to before, so that'll be interesting. Now that you've seen kind of the situation, some of the places that I've looked at, I will mention that one of those places in that vlog footage is the one that I bought. You guys can go ahead and guess which one it is. The other ones were ones that I really liked. Altogether, I think I saw about 25 to 30 places. Some were absolutely bombs, like we walked in and walked out, and then others, like the ones that you saw, were ones that I kind of fell in love with and actually ended up putting an offer in on. Before I even got my place, I put offers in for 4 other places. Yes, 5 other places, I think, actually. So not only did I attempt to buy 5 other places, but I didn't get those 5 other places, and that's a whole other topic that we can talk about, of just the Toronto market being so crazy competitive that if you watched my vlogs you know, because I ranted about it literally all the time. But basically the Toronto market, especially I feel like January, prices started to hike. Basically I just lost every single one. Someone would put in a higher offer and I wouldn't get it until I finally landed mine. And the way that I actually got mine was I put a preemptive offer in on my place. So basically I offered for the place before it even went live for sale. So that's kind of how and why I was able to get in early and secure my place, which is a main reason why I also lost out on a few other places, was people putting in preemptive offers that I just couldn't compete with, because this market in Toronto for condos has been absolutely insane. People have been offering like $200,000 to $400,000 over asking price, which honestly just blows my mind, like why people wouldn't list it closer to the price that they're expecting to get for it, which was really frustrating from a buyer's perspective, especially a first-time home buyer, where, you know, I'm seeing things that look like they're within my budget and then end up being like $300,000 to $400,000 above my budget. Anyways, I quickly just wanted to talk to you guys too about why I chose to buy versus rent, because a lot of people have said this, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to buy, but that I am so young to be buying a house. So my thought process is that I know I want to be in Toronto for the next at least 4 to 5 years. And just equity wise, it makes so much more sense if you can afford it to buy a house versus renting, because your rent price is literally not only paying someone else's mortgage, but that rent price that you're paying is likely either the same or more than mortgage prices. So I did consider renting for a little bit, and that if I didn't get a house by a certain date, that I would actually rent for a year and consider like looking at the house market again in a year. But basically God blessed me and I was able to get my place, which I'm so super grateful for. I can't express that enough. I'm just gonna mention this once now, that I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you guys. You literally are, you fuel me, you are the reason why I'm able to do this, so thank you so much. I don't want to get too ranty with that because I could go on forever, but I just am so thankful, and I know every YouTuber literally says that they couldn't do it without you, but it's so true that like this is my job and I couldn't be where I am without you guys, so thank you. Back to what I was saying about rent versus buy. I did look at rent for a little bit of places that I would also like consider buying. So same situation, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all of the same wants and needs. And literally the rent prices were the same, if not higher than what my mortgage is going to be, which is absolutely crazy to me. So to give you guys an idea, if you're looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath in the Toronto market, similar wants and needs to me, I'll also be mentioning a few of the buildings that I really liked. For what I was looking for, rent prices right now for a 2-bed, 2-bath is like $3,500 plus, which is more than my mortgage. That's crazy. So that was a big factor to me of going like, okay, if I have the money for the down payment, why would I not just buy a place, because I'm paying the same monthly payments as I would be if I was renting, because renting realistically $3,500 was on the lower end, $4,000 would be more average, which is craziness. Like you can literally, a mortgage is literally cheaper than your rent prices. That is my first recommendation to you guys, is that if you have the money saved up enough for a down payment, or if you can co-sign and split the down payment with say another friend or your significant other, to buy versus rent, especially in Toronto, because it long-term is just an amazing investment. And then also you're just, like I said, you're paying the same monthly no matter what. So why wouldn't you get some equity and get some investment out of where you're living? In terms of buildings, because I know a lot of you have said that you're also looking to rent or buy in Toronto soon and just don't know where to start, I was super lost. When I first started looking at places, I would go on Condos and Realtor and look in kind of the general areas where I knew I wanted to be, but not really know what buildings I liked or what buildings were good. So for me personally, I was kind of looking either Yorkville, which is obvious, I feel like everybody wants to be in Yorkville, and quickly realized that that just was not in my budget. But we were looking at Yorkville and like Bay Street corridor, as well as Entertainment District and kind of King West area. Those were kind of the three main areas of Toronto that I was like, these are the only places that I really want to be in, and if it's outside of these places, like my condo needs to be absolutely spectacular. So within that, let me give you guys some of the names of the buildings that I personally really liked, and if you have similar condo tastes to me, you will really like as well, just to give you a little bit of like a head start and like somewhere to look. My favorite that are also not super expensive, that are more on the reasonable, that $3,500 to $3,700 for a 2-bed 2-bath end. So obviously it's not super cheap, but it's also not like $5,000 to $6,000 a month, which I know some places are, which is crazy. So I'm gonna read off my like list that I have here. The ones that I liked are Charlie, Karma, X and X2, Murano and Burano, Mond, YC, U, just like capital letter U, Minto, Bisha, Waterworks, and Lighthouse. There's a few that are like closer together, but those are pretty spread out all over Toronto between Waterfront, King West, Bay Corridor, and Yorkville. So now that I feel like I've gotten all of my chatty self and all of the things that I really wanted to like give advice on and tell you guys about out of the way, let's get into the actual apartments and like the ones that I saw, things that I liked, and just overall kind of the ones that I actually ended up seeing. First place that I ever saw, I was honestly obsessed with, and it had a hold on me for a good period of time after I saw it and after it sold. It was stunning. The view was stunning. It was up on the 28th floor and you got a view of the entire Toronto skyline. Because it was in Yorkville, you literally could see everything. My downside with it was the layout and the size. So it was 900 square foot, which was actually really big considering that the place that I bought is only 820. So it was 80 square foot more, but it felt so much smaller. And it was just because of the layout. Like I mentioned earlier, it was one of those like long kitchen layouts. So I would suggest when you're apartment hunting, if you have the choice, try and look for those ones that are more of the square layouts. They'll give you so much more space. They'll feel so much bigger with the square footage that you actually have. So while this place had the windows, it had a lot of like unused or unusable square footage because of that like long kitchen area. It just isn't as functional of a layout as, like I mentioned, the square layout is. So that was probably the only place that I saw that had that layout that I was considering, just because of how beautiful the view is, how nice the amenities in that building were, and then also just how nice the furnishings were. So like the countertops and stuff of the actual kitchen and the bathrooms. I actually ended up seeing, I think, 2 or 3 fixer-uppers, and I kind of determined that like no matter where I bought, probably in a year down the road, I'd start doing renovations and make the place actually what I want it to be. So in my mind, I was kind of like, even if it's a little bit uglier than what I would want, if it's okay and it's livable for now, that's what matters, because I can always do renovations in the future because I own it. So the second one that I saw was very far out in King West, like a 35-minute commute to campus, which that was a bit of a hike, but again, it had a beautiful view. The layout felt really, really homey just because it was an older building. It was 30 years old and the ceilings were a little bit lower, so they weren't that like newer building standard like 10 or 11 foot ceilings. They were like 9-foot ceilings, which still is like tall, but felt very homey and more of a house than an apartment. So if you like that, I know Toronto has a lot of older buildings, so I definitely suggest, if you're looking for more of that like homey, close feel, you don't want something that feels so cold and sterile like a lot of the newer apartment buildings do, definitely go for an older building, because I feel like they have that charm and they have that like coziness. But I loved this one. The layout was perfect. It was 1050 square foot, I believe, the second one. I actually ended up putting an offer in on that one. Obviously didn't get it, but the biggest thing for me was that the bathroom ceiling height, I could actually like reach up and touch the ceiling in the bathrooms, which that like, as someone who is tall, was like, this isn't good, because I have friends that are taller than me, so they're gonna be like hitting their heads off the ceiling. But besides that, the kitchen was fully updated. It was gorgeous. The only downsides again were like those ceiling heights, and then the distance from school was a little bit far. So after that place, another one that I ended up putting an offer in on right after that one was a total gut job place. It was in a great location relative to school. It was about a 10-minute walk away from school. So perfect location. It was 1,100 square foot. So it was freaking huge. But again, it was another 30-year-old building, fully carpeted. It was like a galley style kitchen, and like my mindset with this one was like, if I get it at a low price, I can totally gut job it and make it beautiful. And make it like worth the investment, because the location was good. The view was like decent. It was a southeast view. Honestly would have ended up being blocked because there was a building being built right beside it. Ultimately, I did put an offer in on, but I put an offer in on it that was like, this is what I'm comfortable with paying if I got it, because I have to do so much work. Anyways, I did love the layout again. It had, so I didn't love the galley style kitchen, but because it was so big, it had this giant open living space that would have been big enough for like a dining room table plus a couch and like a fireplace and TV situation. So layout was a plus, location was a plus, gut job was like half and half, because it's like I'm still spending the same amount of money that I would if I bought a newer place, but it's like that work and that time that would have to be put in that just obviously ended up not being worth it, because God always has a plan. And I feel like this is something that I talked about on my Instagram stories, but I haven't talked about in my vlogs yet, is that like throughout this whole process, I really just had to trust God and that like he had a place out there for me, because I was someone that got really, really emotionally attached every time I put an offer in on, or every time I saw a place that eventually ended up getting sold before I could even touch it. And I just had to keep sitting there and going, you know what, God has a place out there for me. His timing is perfect, and I couldn't have asked for literally a better place. I know I'm throwing this randomly in probably like the middle of the video. The place that I got, I can honestly say, is my favorite out of all of the ones that I saw. The location is amazing, the view is stunning, the layout is perfect, and like just timing wise, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Anyways, let me get back into the next one. So after that gut job, I feel like I took a little bit of time off from condo hunting because it was midterm season. This was around like middle of February. I was kind of distraught after, at that point, having put in 3 offers and them all, you know, not being taken. So after that gut job, I actually ended up going to see a loft. And there's a lot of loft buildings in Toronto, but I'm someone that never thought I would be interested in a loft just because I didn't really like that style and it wasn't really for me. I don't like how the top is like super open to the living room, like you can basically almost see into your bedroom and vice versa. It just isn't my style. But there was one in this older building, not super older, I think it was like 11 or 12 years old, and it had an amazing layout. The kitchen needed to be gutted and so did the bathrooms, but like the flooring was good, the layout was stunning, the view was pretty nice. It was in King West and it was looking west, so like you kind of got a view of like the waterfront and all of like Toronto looking west. But it was really nice and I liked it. It just had a lot of downsides, like maintenance fees are really high. It didn't have parking, it didn't have visitor parking. If visitors wanted to come to this building, basically they would have had to pay $25, which is insane, because it's like anytime someone with a car wants to come visit me, they have to pay 25 bucks. No thank you. So while this place was stunning, the bedrooms were huge and the layout was just amazing, there was just so many other like downsides to it as to why I eventually didn't even end up putting an offer in on this one, because there was just so many what ifs and downsides that was like, yeah, the layout is good, yeah, it's in a great location, but no. After that one, I saw one that I loved. This one was probably my favorite one to date of all the ones that I had seen up until then, before finding obviously my place. The layout was gorgeous. I think it was only 850 or 860 square foot, so not super huge, but it was really, really similar to actually the place that I ended up getting and the layout of it. This one just had a really nice entryway, and I find a lot of places either have no entryway or like a really odd entryway. The entryway of this place was just stunning. It had east, south, and west view, which was insane. So it was like a corner unit, but the way that the building was built, like you also got east view because it had like a little jut out, and like it was lovely. The kitchen was recently renovated in that one, and it was the same sort of layout, that like nice big square, super functional. I did put an offer in on that one, and this one absolutely shocked me because it went for like 600,000 over ask. And mind you, that place was stunning, but that's what kind of broke me in the market when I was looking, because I feel like at that point I was kind of getting exhausted. I had been condo hunting for like a month and a half, and I know that's not that long of a time, but when you're consistently emotionally investing in these places, it's really draining. And I mentioned this in another vlog that nobody really talks about, that of how like condo hunting and apartment hunting is amazing, and it's such a fun and exciting experience, but it's also constantly draining to find a place that you think is going to be your next home and like that you absolutely love, and like you keep getting shut down and you keep getting turned away, or just things aren't working out. Like it's tiring. And also for me, being a very anxious person, I feel like it was really banging on me, going, oh, I keep saying no, like I'm never gonna be able to buy a place, and like all these places that I want keep going way over ask, and I'm just never gonna get a place. And like there was just so much stress around it, and there is so much stress around it that nobody, I feel like, talks about. Everybody talks about the positives of condo hunting and apartment hunting, and it is a really positive thing. It's such a great experience, and it should be so like rewarded, you know, like you're getting your first place, that's amazing, or you're getting your second or third place, whatever. Either way, it's exciting. You're moving to maybe a new city or a new location, and it is so exciting, but it's also stressful, and nobody really talks about that, especially I feel like in the YouTube and like Instagram space. Nobody talks about how stressful it is to actually find a place and get a place. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of light into that. That was the last offer that I put in on before I ended up getting my place. In between putting that offer in and putting my offer in was, I want to say, 7 or 8 places. Went and saw more places at 2 buildings that I had previously been to and I liked the layouts of, but they just didn't end up working out just because either it wasn't facing the right direction. And that's another thing, that when you're apartment hunting, depending on where you are in the city, different directions are so much better. Like if you're towards the west end of the city, you really want like a southeast view. Regardless, I feel like you always want a south view just because it gives you more light, more warmth. It's just overall brighter. A lot of the northern facing apartments are not quite as bright or as warm, or just like they don't have that view unless you're like right at waterfront and you're north facing. But say you're in Yorkville and you're north facing, you are basically looking at nothing. The last thing that I want to touch on is just when is the best time to get a place. And from my experience and from other of my friends' experiences, if you're looking to rent, I'd say to start looking in April in hopes of getting the place by May or June. Not only in Toronto is that just the best weather, because by July and August it's way too freaking hot to be able to try and move. You're sweaty, it's gross. But by May and June, it's not likely to rain, it's nice out, it's sunny out, and also because that like end of April is when a lot of students are done school, that's when a lot of leases end up being finished. So even if you're looking to buy, if you're looking for like a May, June closing, so if you're buying, start looking, I'd say January, February, March for a May, June closing, because that is when a lot of places come up for lease and start coming up for sale throughout those months to be closed in May or June, just because their tenants are out, so they then have the option to either release their place to new tenants or sell it if that's what they want. Alright, so now we actually get to talk about my place that I ended up finding. On the day that I went and saw my place, I actually saw 2 other places before it, so this was the last one for the day, and I almost didn't end up going to see it. Just the way that things worked out, I saw the first 2 places back to back at like 9 a.m. and then like 9:45 a.m. So we were done looking at those 2 places by around 10:30, but we couldn't get in to see the place that I ended up buying until I think it was like 11:30 or 12. So another like 2 hours later. And my real estate agent, bless her soul, she was amazing. I loved her. She was also a family friend, so that just worked out super well. But she drives literally over an hour to come to Toronto to do the showings for me. And so I was like, you know, we don't have to stick around, you can go home, we don't need to see this last place, because there was a 2-hour time gap in between the 2. So I was just kind of being like, you know, it's okay, like we don't need to see it. But she was very insistent and was like, no, it's no worries, we will go see it. And I walked in and immediately got that feeling that like, I love this place. You know, I feel like when you've been apartment hunting or house hunting before, you know what I'm talking about, but it's like you immediately walk in and you're like, I can see myself living here, this is my space. So I got that feeling, and then I got that like being let down feeling, because that feeling that I got at all the other places obviously didn't get them. So it was kind of like this toss up, and I remember talking to my real estate agent afterwards, as I mentioned, they're family friends, and just going, I think this is probably my favorite place that I've seen, and I want to put an offer in on it, and I want to put a preemptive offer in on it just to try and just to see what happens. I did that, I ended up getting it preemptively, and this was 2 days after my birthday. So this was like March 18th, I think, and that is kind of the little timeline and story time of like how I ended up getting my place. But I'm so excited to show it to you guys. It is so stunning. I'm so excited to be I'm so excited to be living there, like moving, and it's all so exciting. I can't wait to bring you guys with me on the whole moving adventure, and I'm gonna wrap up this video because I have a feeling this is going to be a very long, chatty video. Probably, I'm gonna guesstimate right now and say 30 minutes. I hope I was able to give a little bit of insight and advice onto not only the Toronto market and just like its frustrations, but if you're looking to rent, kind of like my thoughts, my insights, some buildings to look at. I just hope you got a little bit of info out of this that's helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, and I love you all so much. Bye!